Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome, of course, to another episode of Opinionated with yours truly. I am your host, Resla. Hopefully, you guys have been having a good day today. It has been relatively hot over here in these streets over here in New York. Been pretty good though. Pretty good though. Pretty interesting day. Hopefully, your day has been very good as well. Uh, didn't know really what I was gonna be bringing forth you today, but there was a lot that was taking place in terms of media. I know everybody's actually getting ready for the debates that are actually coming up, and so I know everybody's got their own thing as to how they're going to be preparing. What's their particular points that they want to get into when it comes to a lot of things. Sorry, I'm making sure I'm putting my stuff on so that my notifications don't make a whole bunch of noise. But outside of that, I think that we can cover a few things that be going on today. I got a few things I do want to talk about. There are a couple of things that are a little bit of a contradiction in my mind, so we got to figure out where some things are going when it comes to particular people. And yeah, we're gonna rock it out. I think this will be a pretty smooth, not too much of a controversial time, not too much in the critical thinking era aspect of things, but we can get into that as we go through it. But of course, as always, I want to thank all of you who did show up pretty early in the building. And for right now, we have Butterfly Jones who showed up in the building. So thank you for doing so. I am already off on what I need to be done because I came here last moment and I didn't have enough time to start setting up things the way I really wanted to. But thank you, Butterfly Jones, for coming up in here. It looks like there were a few people that actually did show up, but like you guys kind of dipped out as well. So hopefully you'll realize that I actually am on. I do a little bit of a buffer so that everybody can kind of get in, kind of chill, say what's up to everybody else is here in the chat while they're waiting up, and then I get in. I try not to do like the whole notification thing that Facebook does. It notify you like a half an hour, and then you guys just sit around for half an hour. But I would typically try to come in somewhere that 15 to 10 minutes before we start the show, just to get everybody kind of in that mood. Everybody, some people are just like they're in a somber mood or whatever. So I try to play some music to get you guys up in it. And then, of course, we start the show, kicking it off all the time, as always. So, hey, Butterfly Joes, thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up. And hopefully, everybody will come back in the building now that they realize I'm actually on. So, let's get into the first thing that we want to talk about. So, I like to start off a couple of things, it's a little bit local in my sector because in my sector is a little bit of what's happening in a lot of major cities is going on here. And some of the major things that's been taking place is of course dealing a lot with the crisis that we have with migrants and what's going to be going on in the city. So what's going on with the mayors, what's going on with the migrants, how the governor is doing things, all particular stuff here. So what I wanted to talk about is the most latest thing that we have going on here. We've got a lot of crises that are taking place when it comes to these migrants in the damn media. It is what it is. Let's take a look and hear what's going on.
Have now been filed against a suspect that was arrested in connection with a deadly triple stabbing in the East Village.
Fox 8's Arthur Chien joins us live from the scene near East 14th Street and Avenue A. And Arthur, you just got some exclusive video from that attack.
Natasha, Teresa, the video is so disturbing. In fact, we can only show you certain portions of it. There are two main parts to the story right now. It is that the authorities have charged the man they arrested out here with 1 count of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. The other part of the story is that we have been reporting from this block behind us several times in the past year, talking about concerns from residents who say that if something isn't done to clean up the streets, something bad will happen. And yesterday, apparently, it happened. This is the aftermath. We can't roll the actual video of the attack because it's pure violence. We can only freeze the frames so we can relay what the witness who gave us at Fox 5 this video tells us about what happened here this weekend. At the corner of 14th Street and Avenue A, the violence centers on this man wearing a bandana, tan shirt, and some sort of a dark cape. In his right hand, a sharp object. The first frames of the video obtained by Fox 5 shows the suspect attacking a female victim, stabbing her even as she...
Oh, Jesus. Oh, already. So obviously the guy, he's like mentally unwell. He looks like he might be homeless. They said a cape. No, let's be honest. Like no one's wearing a cape. Like we don't have superheroes running around here. Such that damn for sure is not a superhero. Probably a bed sheet or something that he got wrapped around it. But oh my gosh, now we got people that's just out there stabbing in the streets, and that's in the East Village. That's like literally less than like 20 minutes from a train ride. Like I can easily get there with like no problem. Um, damn, stabbing the woman. The other guy, I guess he came in to come help. So let's see what happened.
She's on the ground on her back. She's kicking and trying everything to fight him off. A man in a yellow shirt then jumps in to help her fight the attacker. Then we can see him stabbed at least 6 times around his neck and shoulder. Multiple bystanders run over to help, including a shirtless man wielding a billboard. 2 of the victims stumble away. The man in the yellow shirt eventually collapses.
Saw a man getting into the ambulance. He had a stab wound on his neck. So I'm pretty sure he's the one that's pronounced.
The attack took place in broad daylight after 5:30 on Sunday. Police.
Why was the old woman out there shuffling? Why was she out there shuffling? What was she doing? What was she doing
He's
out
the
there?
one that's pronounced.
The attack.
What is this old woman out here doing? Why is she out there shuffling? I don't get it.
Attack took place in broad daylight after 5:30 on Sunday. Police say a 38-year-old man was killed from being stabbed in the neck. Our witness says it was the man in the yellow shirt who went to save the woman he was with. The 52-year-old woman in the video is in critical condition, and a 31-year-old man stabbed in the back was also hospitalized. Police have now identified the attacker as Alejandro Piedra, a 30-year-old from East New York, Brooklyn. His address goes to an organization called Services for the Underserved, which tells Fox 5 Piedra's been a resident there for years. Back on the block in the East Village where the violence unfolded, residents are shocked, but not the least surprised.
Sadly, I wasn't surprised.
Travis is a father of 2, and Fox 5 has been down to this corridor of East 14th Street repeatedly, reporting on concern.
I can't tell you, especially when I was a lot younger in my 20s, how many times I used to just really hang out in a lot of the areas over by East 14th. Jesus Christ, like the thing that it's just this bad, and I haven't been down there in quite a while. I do my best, my due diligence, just really not to be stuck up in the areas of the city because it's just really depressing. And we are, whether it's the homeless issue or just for some reason, if you get into the village, you will see like the homeless that pop up, and I wouldn't even really say homeless. I would really say like those who are just like not there as much as they used to be. Of course, you have like the big college over there. NYU is a big area that you can get between the east and the west side, especially on the west. Oh man, it's a lot. That's a lot. And now you got everybody else is popping up, but you don't even know what stuff that's going on with them in terms of like the migrants or whatever's going on.
Concerns from residents about unsafe conditions, including the constant presence of homeless and mentally ill individuals. We've seen it for ourselves.
The situation is dire. It's really, really rough. The unhoused and just like unhinged people around are really, it's scary. And with my kids, it's a lot.
Of course. It just really means that in any time, he pretty much innocent people who are out there just trying to have regular lives with their families, trying to live in a very nice neighborhood, because it's crazy as those areas are where you have all these people who are just like either homeless or unstable. They're literally in areas that are considered to be nice areas. So it's not like it's the projects. It's not like, it's just nothing but big buildings. Like, this, it's not. It's actually nice buildings and nice, quiet, relatively quiet neighborhoods that just have disenfranchised people that's all over the place, people who are just all over the place, all in their heads, and there's not much you can do about it. There's just really not much you can do about it. That's a damn shame. It's not the only place that they got a problem at. So, of course, I want to check out what Cash Jordan actually is going on, because he is, of course, another fellow New Yorker and likes to talk about a lot of things that's going on here. Hey, Mayo. Thanks for coming in. No, it wasn't Kensington. They weren't the guy. He was going through his shit. He wasn't just leaned over all in the dead pose. These are people who are just crazy. They're still moving around. They're not zombies. Thank goodness we don't have that.
2 men have been arrested for stealing an off-duty officer's car at gunpoint in Manhattan. They're charged with criminal possession of a machine gun. Police say the 2 men approached
A machine gun. a police officer was robbed in their car with two guys who had a machine gun. A machine gun. Okay. All right. All right. We gonna rock with that. We gonna rock with that. OG, what's good, man?
Approached the officer and demanded his keys at West 146.
So a shocking new wave of crime has fallen upon New York City, but although critics are quick to blame the asylum crisis, what nobody wants to admit is that although New York's laws make it a sanctuary for immigrants, they also make it a sanctuary for criminals.
It's growing outrage after yet another video emerges showing police getting attacked by migrants.
It happened as they were trying to make an arrest at a shelter on Randall's Island.
The Adams administration is still currently reviewing whether to install metal detectors at some of these shelter locations.
Christian Inga is set to face a Queens judge on a slew of charges linked to an attack in Casino Park.
Other residents on this University Heights block believe recent asylum seekers toured a park.
Coming in on motorcycles and mopeds.
So we've seen a spate of some very brazen cell phone robberies that's been attributed to a Venezuelan gang called Tren de Aragua, which has its origins at a prison outside of Caracas.
Anytime you have 3,000 people who are placed in an environment that they cannot work, they have to sit around all day, things like this have the potential to happen.
They don't sit around all day.
7 hours, you heard? All day, all night for him.
This man.
They don't have to sit around all day. You can give them a bus ticket somewhere else, a plane ticket somewhere else. They have options. They got options. It's still on the table. Jesus.
And says Ingalandi likely would have gotten away if not for him and about 6 other people who helped detain him. Crime is now so bad in New York, some are now calling for a repeal of its sanctuary city status. But what nobody's talking about is that even if you take away every single one of the city's sanctuary policies, you're still stuck with a justice system that makes this place a sanctuary for criminals no matter where they're from. A haven, so to speak, for violent gangs to roam our streets on mopeds, stealing phones and purses, where you'll also find open-air theft markets operating in front of the very stores crooks are stealing from, and where if you get in trouble for anything, you can assault the police and be released without bail. Just like the 6 asylum seekers that shocked the nation with their attack on the NYPD late last year, an attack we now know has emboldened every criminal in this city. And we're not just talking about asylum seekers. Over 200,000 of whom have come to New York, most with the intention of obeying the law and starting a new life for themselves. But right now, the city still has a shelter population of around 65,000 people, all of whom were promised jobs, but are now trapped in tiny hotel rooms in America's.
And the sad part about it is, like, again, it's not the majority of them that come in here that do all this stuff. But can you really, not feel a way when people have the mindset of now thinking guilty by association? Because believe it or not, even if you get the quote, the good ones, the honest ones, because they also don't want to be in any kind of trouble, they also won't rat out the ones that are doing all the nonsense. It's fucking ridiculous. You want status, you want protection, you want to be able to do up, but you won't actually give up the mofos that's actually making it harder for you. I don't get it. I really don't.
Most expensive city, which is no excuse for crime, certainly, but it doesn't need to be because the justice system here makes excuses for criminals every single time they get arrested. And no matter what crime someone commits, 9 times out of 10, the district attorney's office will drop or downgrade the charges until dangerous repeat offenders are either set free completely or let off with a minor slap on the wrist. But it gets even worse because for months, reports have been circulating of dangerous gangs exploiting the U.S. southern border, using it to infiltrate our city with their underlings, who are now reportedly making alliances with local New York gangs, expanding their criminal empires and recruiting vulnerable individuals from within New York's own shelter populations. But what's most alarming are the latest attacks on police, which keep happening because if the police aren't safe in this city, no one is.
No one. Exactly. It's an entire mockery. It really is. If the ones who have the guns, if the ones who are the ones that respond to the calls, if the ones who are really the only ones who are really sanctioned to be moving around with, like, Kevlar vests, they're not safe. When they can have 2 guys roll up on them and take them out their own car, it's like, come on now. Then anybody can get it. Hey, Yvette, what's going on? But it means anybody can get it. And yet, we want to believe with the weight Never mind, they got their hands on weapons. They got their hands on weapons. So, no. We're going to hear more.
Now, 2 armed men believed to be Venezuelan migrants carjacked an off-duty NYPD officer in Harlem. What's the solution here? How do we stop this surge in migrant crime?
Well, we need to secure the border, Stuart. We need more border personnel.
Did you hear that? We're not going to. Now, whether or not you agree with that statement, one thing's for sure, we've got elevated levels of crime because people don't really seem to care what happens to them after they attack the police. And in this story, 2 dangerous individuals robbed a police officer of his personal vehicle when he was off duty. It all happened at 11:30 in the evening as the officer was sitting in his 2020 BMW, which was black. And the criminals who approached the officer may have thought they were just going through a normal carjacking, which they'd probably done before. Either way, these crooks, they approached the black BMW the officer was sitting in with their weapons drawn, and when the officer tried to draw his weapon, they knocked it out of his hand, disarming him. And then they demanded his keys, got in the car, and sped off into the night. But wait until you hear how heavily armed these thugs were.
Jose Rivera and Jomar Crespo are charged with criminal possession of a machine gun, firearm, among other charges. Police say the 2 men approached the officer and demanded his keys.
Did you hear that? These criminals had fully automatic weapons.
They said machine guns. They said machine guns. You can't make that up. I can't make that up. That's crazy.
That is a level of firepower, a force multiplier that puts the entire city in danger that the police may not even be able to defend against. In fact, we're talking about a level of armament that might require a military response. Now, although the criminals in question gave information stating they were from Connecticut, the New York Post has revealed that they are actually recent immigrants from Venezuela. And apparently these guys have tattoos that link them to dangerous Venezuelan gangs. But that's not all. Apparently the names they gave to police might be fake. Apparently they told police they had left their IDs at home, which is pretty convenient since their plan that evening was to go on a crime spree. And
they left their keys at someone else's home because we know that they don't actually have a home. They don't have a home. So either it's somebody that they probably ran out they shit. Oh my goodness.
Steal vehicles at gunpoint. But after stealing the officer's black BMW, the car itself was found.
Wait. Are they saying they're already so well connected they have a place where they're going to take this vehicle? Because most vehicles come with GPS now. So where were they planning on actually, how long were they planning on using this vehicle? Come on.
Just a few blocks away from where the robbery happened. They had ditched it, and police were able to track down the vehicle because when it was stolen, inside was one of the officer's Apple devices. So they just pulled it up on one of his other phones and found out where the car was. And after finding the abandoned vehicle on a side street in central Harlem, police were able to find the criminals nearby. And the reason this is so frightening is because even though these people identified themselves to the police, we have no way of knowing if what they told the police was accurate. And that's because apparently before people enter the United States, they have a habit of discarding their identification.
Some, though, are dumping their IDs altogether. I have come across piles and piles of discarded documents on the U.S. side. This is happening
Can't get a track record
before they're even apprehended by Border Patrol agents. Now, the idea here...
Now, look, there could be many reasons why someone would want to get rid of their ID before entering the United States. After all, not everybody who's come here wants to join a gang and commit crime. And many people are under the impression that coming into the country without any ID means you get a clean slate because the authorities have to record whatever you provide to them and hope that you've done it honorably without lying. But apparently this type of system is being exploited by a small minority of people who wish to come here and do something other than live the American dream. There are criminals who have it in their best interest to sneak into the country and make their way to sanctuary cities where they can live for free while living a life of crime by taking advantage of the generous safety net offered to the less fortunate by cities like New York. And they're able to do this because so many people in other parts of the world are living in such dire circumstances that they'll do anything to get into the country. And the last thing they want is for their name to pop up in some database that links them to somebody who they're not, or for their country of origin to be the reason they can't get into this country in the first place. Which is a huge problem because even though most of the people entering the country don't wish to harm us or the police, the next person on our list did something even worse than a carjacking, and they never should have been in the country to begin with.
Here we go.
here we are in a public park in New York City, an environment that you'd think would be safe because this is a place where people go to relax, they've got their guard down, but sadly, New York City's lawless environment now means that places like this could be some of the most dangerous anywhere in town.
Oh, we know this one, folks.
Face a Queens judge on a slew of charges linked to an attack in Casino Park. Police say Inga is a migrant from Ecuador who entered the U.S. through Eagle Pass, Texas.
So this is an unbelievable story, not only because of the awful deed that was committed, but because of what it took to bring this person to justice. So this story revolves around a recent immigrant from Ecuador who singled out two teenagers in a park the other week, where sadly he attacked them during broad daylight in the middle of the afternoon. But even though this attack took place in an environment many thought to be safe, and even though the teenagers went and got help almost immediately, the perpetrator still escaped from the scene of the crime. And this person would have escaped if it weren't for some incredible detective work by the NYPD, because they were able to obtain security camera footage revealing the suspect's face. And after those images were released to the general public, it didn't take long for locals to figure out who this person was and where to find him. And even though criminals in our city might not be afraid of the police, you definitely don't want to step on the toes of local New Yorkers who are upset with you.
This video shows Christian Giovanni Ingolandi on the ground just outside this deli minutes after Jeffrey Flores says he spotted him. I come and I just grab him out the store. Flores and others in the neighborhood say they'd seen him at the store earlier and waited for hours to see if he'd return. The group says they used this belt to tie.
Yeah, so the type of
I'm wondering with his since he says he was on drugs, right? His junky ass. You gonna tell me with your junky ass, you still can't remember that you assaulted a young girl? Like, really? And you thought that you could still hang around the same neighborhood? You could just go to the same bodega? Like, what do we... Okay, listen, being foreign or anywhere else just doesn't stop you from being an absolute idiot and some of the worst that we have in this world.
Justice this person got when the locals apprehended him is entirely different than the way the justice system in New York normally operates. And what's surprising is not only did this person suffer immediate consequences for their actions before being turned over to police, the district attorney is not prosecuting the Good Samaritans who ended up apprehending this person, which sadly happens a lot to local residents of this city when they defend themselves. But once the images of this suspect were released, local residents realized that this is someone who frequented a local bodega, and they decided to set up camp there and wait for him all day. And mind you, all of this transpired a couple of days after the attack took place, before anybody had been arrested.
24-year-old Jeffrey Flores recognized Inga when the NYPD released these clear photos of the 25-year-old riding away on a bicycle.
He really tried to run for his legs, but he couldn't.
Inga was known to buy...
You know, I hate to say this, but in New York City with our progressive justice system, had the police been the ones to find this guy and had they been a little rough with him when they brought him in, he may have in fact been released, but since it wasn't the police that he had to deal with, things didn't turn out that way. And people are referring to the locals that caught this guy as heroes of the neighborhood, which they are, and which they should be commended for.
We waited 7 hours, all day, all night for him. This man, who goes by Forge and didn't want to give his real name, says Ingolandi likely would have gotten away if not for him and about 6 other people who helped detain him. You know what we do?
You know, if angry New Yorkers weren't more frightening than the police we have here, I doubt we'd be hearing about any of this. But not only did the locals do their own detective work and set up their own sting operation, they were able to hold on to this guy and keep him in one place until the police arrived to take him away in handcuffs. But even though it seems the criminal involved in this tragic story may actually face the justice they deserve, that's sadly not something that can be said about the criminals in our next story, who've not only figured out how to take full advantage of New York's generous safety net, but are using that safety net in order to expand their criminal empires right here under our very noses.
And that's just for the one that we actually got. You know, there are just so many of them that don't even get caught. So many of them that people are afraid to even say anything about. Honestly, I'm in. As much as they talk about how soft, you know, things have gotten with New York, like, honestly, we should probably turn New York into Gotham. Get the people involved, like, literally, like, because the cops obviously can't do it. They've been shackled. They've been handcuffed. At the same time, somehow they're still getting funding. Everything else seems to get clipped from the freaking all the freaking projects seem to get freaking clipped for everything else that we need here in the city. But somehow the cops can still find a way to get some budget. At the same time, they're still low in numbers, but they can still get money No, I think turn into Gotham, give more power back to the people, and we can turn around. Like, I don't understand this whole concept of the minority having so much power over the majority. Listen, if people really want to collectively get together and run these motherfuckers out, they can absolutely do that. They absolutely could. Like, you gonna just wait and just listen, folks, especially if you're here in New York, especially if you're in any cities and you're going through this kind of shit. You really just gonna sit around and wait for someone else to just take out one of your family members, rather than if y'all know who the mofos is, y'all know who the wrong people are, who go to your stores, who break into other people's houses, who just lounge about, not doing the right things. Like, you really not gonna get together collectively as a freaking community and handle these dudes? A lot of y'all be acting like the entire community that you're in is just full of homeless people. You behave as if your entire neighborhood is just full of old folks. Like,
critics say what you're about to see is the predictable result of loopholes being exploited in New York's sanctuary city policies and also its sanctuary laws that hide and harbor criminals.
Agreed. That's why folks gotta take it in their own hands.
So we've seen a spate of some very brazen cell phone robberies in New York City that's been attributed to...
Yvette, it's too early for the purge, but I'm okay with, if we actually have to form a real like neighborhood watch and we just handle business. Like, if we really gotta have that, if we really gotta have communities with actually working with the cops to do community affairs, and we just do some real vigilante shit, we form real neighborhood watches, people who are on patrols and shit like that. It's too early for the purge, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the purge can't just happen in a single area. It has to be collectively agreed to be upon the nation. It has to be a unified effort, unfortunately. Said it's almost too late for a purge. Again, it won't show up. You'll have to get more vigilantes before anything else. The purge is like the step before ever getting to Mad Max style shit, and we're not there yet. We're just not there.
To a Venezuelan gang called Tren de Aragua, which has its origins at a prison outside of Caracas. A number of the gang members escaped in...
Who sees guys like that in their neighborhood and go, that's the kind of guy that I want in my neighborhood? Obviously, he's just gonna be the local chef in the bodega. He's not gonna cause any problems. Just look at him. Look at his face. He's got such a trusting face. He's such a trusting soul.
In September 2023, when the Venezuelan government raided the prison.
Yeah, that's definitely not great news, and I don't think that's information that's being widely broadcasted, and it's kind of scary, to be honest with you, because we keep hearing about crimes being committed at our border, and we keep hearing about the work that's being done down there, but we don't hear about the crimes that are being committed in other countries, which may have a direct impact on the stuff that our country...
And you guys are definitely affected over in Florida, because they can easily just get down at the bottom of California, because they easily walk by in the bottom of South California. Like, literally, I remember going through the last one when they were just hopping the border and everything, and the guy just pointed in the direction, where's San Diego? It's just that way. And my man wasted no time. He just started walking in that area. No time. Had no idea. It was blazing hot sun. He just said, you pointed that way, I'm just going to keep walking that way. That's exactly what happened. They're all over in the bottom of California. And I'm pretty sure they'll be making their way to the north of California, because I guess they'll figure out if they can get as far away south, they can stay in the mid to north, that they'll be more safer.
He's experiencing. But to hear that a Venezuelan prison break happened right before our border became overwhelmed does not exactly inspire insane levels of confidence. And although Customs and Border Patrol are operating much like the NYPD here, doing the best they can with the limited resources at their disposal and the limited scope of their mission, is it outrageous to think that the systems we have at the border are not 100% perfect and that some of the bad guys aren't able to slip through the cracks? And to make matters worse, it seems like the wrong people are doing everything they can to take advantage of a system that's trying to do the best for people who need it. And those would be the people fleeing poverty, trying to leave a dangerous environment and start over. But look at this. The 19-year-old who was arrested just a couple of weeks ago after attacking the police admitted that he had been recruited by a Venezuelan crime gang here in New York with the goal of committing snatch and grab attacks, going after purses, iPhones, and apparently the criminal in this story has one of those tattoos that links him back to this same dangerous gang, which is currently working to expand its sphere of influence here in New York City.
Law enforcement says they are infiltrating cities in the United States.
It's not difficult. This isn't hard. Yes, it does mean you may need to profile. You may need to act with some form of prejudice. Yes. But if they're wearing all the signs, you have the right to actually look at them that way. If they have nothing but gang tats, it's not hard to pick them out. They would have to prove that they're actually reformed. Just don't fucking take their word for it. Plain and simple. And don't give them access to shit.
And maybe forming alliances with gangs that are already established here. We're seeing the presence of Tren de Aragua in New York City. We're seeing all these brazen cell phone robberies where two guys on a moped will go onto a sidewalk in Manhattan and they will steal a cell phone out of the hands of somebody who's actually talking on the phone.
And apparently they are expanding their operations in the worst way possible. You know those mopeds that you see parked out front of many of the shelters and on pretty much every street corner? Well, those aren't just the delivery vehicle of choice or the commuting vehicle of choice for somebody that wants to save money. They are actually the perfect chariot for a criminal intent on stealing something and riding.
And if I would encourage young kids that are walking by that might actually be in the New York area, in the city areas of Manhattan, and maybe they're out in the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, and maybe if they went up to the upper areas of Harlem, you should start a whole new gang. The whole new game is stabbing the tires of all those shits. You might be hitting some innocent people shit, but I guarantee you, if you hit enough of them, you'll be taking out a lot of those other thefts. You'll be doing your grandma, your auntie, your mama, your nene, whatever the hell. You'll be doing them a favor. Stab the tires. Stab the tires. If it means that everybody's gotta be on risk for the fact that they can't use an e-bike, make it that way. You have my blessing.
Riding away quickly. And apparently these criminals single out people who are on their phone distracted in a public space where there's room for them to escape after they get their hands on that person's device while they're riding their bike. Individuals walking with their phone in their pocket with their head on a swivel are much less appealing targets than those who are utterly distracted, possibly even wearing noise-canceling headphones. And to make matters worse, we all carry so much information on these little things right here. If this is gone and they take it from me while it's unlocked and I'm using it to talk to somebody, what they could do, they could open this thing up, they could send my money to who knows where, and I'll never see it again. But the real reason this is frightening is because the asylum-seeking gang member who was first busted earlier this year for running a moped crime spree made a chilling admission when authorities got their hands on him. He warned everyone when he was apprehended that this whole gang-related crime problem is much bigger than just him and his little crew that was operating out of the Bronx. And essentially what you have now are operations all over town of people stealing phones and bringing them back to hideouts where criminals use tools to access them if they're still locked before draining bank accounts and selling these phones overseas. On top of that, if the criminal...
And they're hitting the stupid. And I say the stupid because, again, he made it to the point where it says people who walk around openly, willy-nilly with your phone in your hand. Like, if I'm moving around, and this is just me. If I'm moving around and I am listening, let's just say to a podcast or a show or whatever, I don't care about... This is just me. Some of you guys need, you don't have as much attention. You got to look at it. It's in my pocket. If I can hear it, I'm good. Do I need to look at a conversation? Do I really need to? If I'm on the go, if I'm in the street, if I should not be distracted when I am walking across a busy street because I should not be looking at a freaking screen, do I need to look at people having a conversation, or do I need to listen to the conversation being had? Just need you to think about that for a moment. Think about the words that are just coming out of my mouth. Don't just watch me as I speak to you. That's the whole point of what I'm just saying right now. Can't you just listen while you're out in the world so that you can be more aware of the bullshit around you that you know is here, but yet you want to be negligent to? Because the only people I should really hear who are getting hit like that are tourists. But there are too many of you guys who are just plain being stupid. And you deserve your phone being taken. You deserve all that information being taken from you. You deserve it. You deserve it. Because with the way how the world is, you're actively deciding to be a participant in being negligent. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You don't keep proper passwords. A lot of you guys think that you're getting a proper password is you using your fucking face. That's dumb. Your thumbprint is still a lot better than your freaking face. Having a passcode is even better than having your thumbprint. But anything to make it the most easy for you, when anybody who can just drop you to the ground, use your face, and run off with your shit, it's easy. But you make it easy for them. Just saying. Yvette, you said when you're out with your phone, you're wrapping around. Yeah, it should be in your pocketbook. Yeah, there's no need to look at your screen. Like, people who turn around and their passcodes are 11110000 whatever. You're not being slick by hitting the only digit that's in the second row 4 times, 5 times, whatever. Like, it's a dumb password. It is. And you deserve to have all your goodies attached to your phone taken. Just saying.
Criminals get lucky and they manage to steal a backpack. There may be other valuables inside of it, like expensive headphones, credit cards, cash, or even a laptop. But this brings up the real reason why New York is in the...
Sidebar. I did not even think about that. For the idiots, and I'm going to say this for both the guys and the gals, the idiots who decide to keep your credit cards in your phone. You definitely deserve to have your freaking accounts ran up. You deserve it. You have it coming. Yo, Will, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming by. Like, these people deserve to have everything taken from them. And this is the problem that we have. We already know the cops can't do anything. We already know that they want to do more, but they can't, and they didn't have the money or the bodies anyway to be able to do anything. I just don't understand why they're getting more funding. I don't want to hear no more about the military or National Guard, because quite frankly, they're only at all the connection spaces that lead to out-of-state areas. There are all the stations that only lead to out-of-state areas. They're not in anywhere big. So if you're not taking a PATH train, if you're not getting on a Metro North, any connections that will get you outside the city that goes from inside and outside the city, then they're not in those stations. They're really not. So that means it's up to everyday individuals to need to step up, because your cops can't do it. They are unable to help you. Literally. You're gonna have to do more. And part of the thing that you can do is actually vote. Like, being able to vote to be able to properly defend yourself by having a firearm. You know, that stuff that you think that the cops should be able to do for you, but you ask to defund them. You know, shit like that. Just saying. Then you already have other things like freaking judges that are put into place that are more interested in having their own ideologies about protecting other people rather than protecting all citizens under their jurisdiction. But you know what? Speaking of actual people that get elected and are judges or so, everybody knows what's happening with this one, right? Miss Christina Peterson? Huh? Everybody knows what's happening to her and the foolery that she was acting up to. Now, I didn't cover the case because I know it was a hot thing going on, but recently, we got a little bit of good news. Now, for a lot of people, they're going to say, Resla, how could you say that this is good news? Especially those in the community who turn around and be like, but we just lost another powerful, strong black woman who was a judge. And I say, it's funny how when you knew you had that kind of responsibility, you still did dumbass shit to be able to lose it, right? So obviously your position of integrity wasn't good enough. You had to turn around and still do some dumb shit at the end of the day. So obviously you don't care about being a good enough role model. You don't. Let's find out what the heck was going on at the end of this.
The state Supreme Court issued its ruling in the case of embattled probate judge Christine Peterson.
She's probably
the
gonna
High
fight
Court ruled the Douglas County probate judge should be removed from office immediately. Fox 5's Kevin Stewart is in
Absolutely.
Douglas County live for us tonight with the
I'm
latest.
all for it.
Kevin.
Christine, voters had already voted to remove Christine Peterson from office. She lost her primary earlier this year, but now the state Supreme Court says she's got to go right away.
It would appear business as usual at the Douglas County Probate Office, but it's not. Judge Christina Peterson is out.
Thank God something did happen.
The community has been buzzing about this one. The Georgia State Supreme Court saying in its Tuesday morning ruling, quote, the judge exhibited a consistent pattern of misconduct that stemmed from willful misconduct in office.
People just kind of get a big head once they get into whatever, area they're in, and they're like, oh, I can get away with anything.
They held to a higher standard, so you know what I'm saying, they gotta do what's needed for the community.
The state high court decision follows a recommendation by the Judicial Qualification Commission to remove Peterson. It found she violated 28 of 30 counts against her. The Fox 5 team has detailed many of the missteps, including asking the public to
28 of 30. Like, you damn near just hit Trump records. Like, come on. And we're just talking about this one Christina, right? But how many examples we already seen? I mean, look how quickly she got the clippings, right? But how many people were still out there talking about Miss Tiffany Henyard, who's also done some egregious shit, right? Why couldn't the gavel fall so quickly? No pun intended. But why couldn't the gavel fall so quickly for her? Why? You got stupid ass Fannie Willis that was out there. Why? Like, and we're seeing that there's a gross amount of incompetence that are out there, especially when you want to talk about people who are part of the community. I'm saying black people who are held in prestigious positions, and we see that all they're doing is fucking it up, making, quote, their people look bad. And I say, no, there's an example that needs to be made out of them to let others know who need to follow that. If you decide to go up to prestigious positions, whether for fame, notoriety, power, that you will get caught if you do dumb shit. It may take you a while, but eventually you will also be wearing bracelets and then later on wearing a jumpsuit.
Cash App her birthday gifts on social media.
Oh, no, not a judge. She get paid too much anyway. No, sir, she get paid entirely too much money to ask for some cash out.
The court noted Peterson denied a taxpayer due process.
First of all, let's just talk about how tacky that sounds. You're a judge. You made who knows how much money for so long. And you're asking for the public to give you cash apps? Sis, sit your behind somewhere.
By not allowing her an attorney after a discrepancy over a marriage license. Peterson's attorney, Lester Tate, told Fox 5, quote, we were able to provide her with a vigorous defense, getting numerous counts dismissed, even though we lost the ultimate battle today.
There's some old sayings right, about, you do as a child when a child, but then you do as an adult when you get older.
All right. Now, Peterson was supposed to remain in office through the end of the year. Now, an interim must be appointed. It's worth noting that Valerie Vi won her race.
I'm like, she lost her job anyway. Get her out early. She doesn't need to worry about anything. Get her out nice and early. Let somebody else get a little bit of experience until the new judge comes in.
Against Peterson during the primary season, so it'll be interesting to see if she is appointed. That will be happening via the judge who will make at the courthouse to make that appointment. It's also worth noting that the assault against a police officer, the alleged assault against a police officer that Peterson is facing.
Alleged? There's body cam footage. Alleged? Seriously? We're still doing that? Sir, we're still doing that? All right.
That had nothing to do with today's decision. Reporting live from Douglasville, Kevin Stewart, Fox 5 News.
Major development that she has to give up her seat immediately. Kevin, thanks so much.
Like, good. Absolutely good. I don't have any particular ill will about it. Yeah, absolutely. Lose your seat. Go ASAP. Go take a break. go take a nice long break. I mean, let's just be happy. Let's be happy the fact that you're just losing your freaking your actual position that you work so hard for. Because let's just be honest, it takes a moment to become a judge, and you were just willing to throw it away willy nilly. You don't ever deserve to ever have a position even coming close to that ever again. That's something that when you screw up, it should be gone and you don't get it back forever. Forever. You can't work your way back at all. Don't talk about how you can help, but no. Sit your tired, ratchet ass down. You won't find sympathy, not from me. Not from me. And as I'm going through like some of the things that the people were saying, oh, I feel so sorry for her. Oh, she was helping out somebody else. And no, she was acting stupid. She wasn't giving her name. There was no alleged. She took swings at that freaking cop who had to handle her. She wasn't being cooperative even afterwards. You need to go look me up. Heifer, if you know the law, then you already know either you keep your mouth shut, not all that mouthing that you was doing later on. Either you keep your mouth shut, that's part of your fifth, right? Or give you goddamn information. All that hooting and hollering you was doing in the station, but you're a judge? Someone should be looking at you with respect, seeing the way that you behave? Man, someone should have beat the brakes off of her. Now, there was a conversation that was being held, and I'm finding a little bit of confusion. Not so much, but a little bit of confusion. And it's because I want to talk about Steve Harvey. The person that turn around and will say one thing, but then turn around and say another thing that people just can't learn to trust. Whether it's talking about relationships and how men should be looking after particular women, but you can see how he's failed in a lot of his own relationships. How he will turn around and say how women should move a particular way, but then they get mad because they're not getting quite the results that they're looking for. Recently, he had a sit down with our vice president, Kamala Harris. And I want to skip to a particular point where I was listening to it, where he started talking about reparations. And I was like, okay, let's see where he's going to go with this. Now, in case you didn't see this, just want you to hear it out, and I want you to hear some of the things he said from beginning to end, even about the quote former president.
If we get a small business loan, because you can be president too with a criminal record, so that's a nice exchange. Ain't that about a?
Yeah.
Look, I've been reading it.
From being eligible for small business loans. Help me get the word out. That's why I'm here.
Well, that's good, because you might as well be able to get a small business loan, because you can be president too with a criminal record, so that's a nice exchange. Ain't that about a?
Not wrong.
Yeah.
Look, I've been reading this paper because I got to stay I got a headache trying to stay on course, so just let me go off this paper for a minute. Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk, because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing.
So about that, 4 years in, right? And he's sitting down right now and he's talking about how the administration, the very administration of the woman that's sitting across from him, how they need to get the word out about all the things that they've actually have been doing. Who is stopping them? Who was stopping them from getting the word out? What exactly has Kamala been doing all this time, the way she couldn't sit down to have a conversation with somebody? But don't they have a speaker who can actually mention all the shit that's being run out? What do you mean, get the word out? There's literally a press corps that's there every damn day. What are we talking about? Tip, what's going on? Absolutely. I'm about to prove it even more, Mail. Absolutely. There's no word. None, what do you mean they need to get the word out? They have an ample opportunity all over the place. Oh, wait. Not unless you were saying that you wanted to just leave it to Joe. Because he been freezing. Maybe he's just forgetting those moments. Maybe he was supposed to announce those things, but he was too busy walking away from the stage. I don't know. You gotta let me know, when were these opportunities that were out there? Why is it we couldn't just have a letter out? Why is it that couldn't just be put on a damn website? Well, we live in a world where it's so easy to get information out. They're still trying to figure out a way to still talk about the stuff? Seriously? When quite frankly, I'll just be honest, nobody knows if you'll even get to sit down for another 4 years, Kamala. So what's been happening this entire time? What's been happening this entire time? But you managed to find a break now to sit down with Steve, who you're not even really mentioning the stuff. He's sitting there talking about somebody from the administration needs to help. Again, all your aides, like, no one could put something out? Shady.
So we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for her to dump. Because they done a lot, man. But we see, I'm on this radio show. I'm hearing all.
He said they done a lot. I'll leave it to you. I'll leave it to you, chat. I'll leave it to you, the viewers who are taking a look as you sitting there for yourself. And even after the video, even after we do our stream, you can turn around and write in the comment section what are all the things that they've been doing? Because he says they've been doing a lot. I'm not even going to take it away. I want to know, written down, what are all the things that they have been doing, and if they have been doing a lot, why is it they're struggling getting the message out? I just need to hear that.
All these people talking about, I'm not voting if they not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show. They know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how are we going to ask for something next time?
I don't even know where to start responding to that. Because the one thing I hear all the time is that we hear about folks complaining or crying about that they want something and then they get ignored. But you're saying that the next time, how many next times are they going to be? Because last I remember, at least on my part, from the things that I hear from a lot of people, is that they talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Now, the message may keep changing over time when they say they want equal representation or they want more opportunities for having businesses or homes or whatever. There's always been something. Reparations is just the most newest thing, but equal treatment because they were worried about cops or whatever. Like, there's always been something, but relatively these things have been ignored, especially I would say just being in the city. But the problem is that I never hear of a message that gets put out there that stays consistent and does not change. That's my thing. But then you're saying that as part of the algorithm, your administration, you need to keep voting for people who, quite frankly, I'll just say black folks have said that nobody's paying attention to them. But you say to still keep voting for these people that aren't listening to you because there's a track record, right? According to what black people say. Just to stay in the game. Because at some point, there will be someone who will eventually hear you and give you what you asked for. But give you exactly what? Because you've asked for so many things in so many different points of time. And I don't even mean like throughout just major generations. I mean like just pretty much through every election cycle. You've asked for different things. So until you get a really straight, cohesive message that everybody in that minority group, because we're not talking about an entire country, we're talking about a minority group. Whether you wanted to talk about the LGBT community, they had a singular message. When you want to talk about for gay rights, they had a singular message. You want to talk about the women's movement, singular message. But black folks don't always have a singular message. They have points. They have bullet points. One of those things on those bullet points has to be the most singular thing, that's top, the tippity top. That before you get anything else under it, you need to get the tippity top up there. Because quite frankly, look how quickly they were able to get an Asian hate bill. One singular message. One message. Stop asking for everything on the menu. Get one thing first. Get something on written first. Get something, put pen to paper first. Stop asking for everything on the menu. Get one thing down first. Because if you can prove that you can get one thing, then you know you can get more things. Am I right or am I right? Because the problem is too many options. Get something down. At least say you got something. And if you're not getting the results you're looking for, why are you still voting the same way? I'm just going to put it that way.
If you ain't got no voting power, you talking about reparations. Ain't nobody finna give you no reparations.
I agree with that.
If you don't vote. Oh,
but I don't agree with that.
Give us some money, no how, man. I hope they do. They owe us. I go down there. I'm sorry. Madam.
So the point of that is that he's saying that regardless of the fact that you can't get anything as black people, he's talking about specifically to black people, that you should still vote anyway, because if you don't vote, you can't even have your name in the ring, right? You can vote. But in my estimate from looking at it, you need to have a singular message, one program to fit on, get something down on the books. Either one thing. Everybody needs to get on. Everybody want something else and say, no, not yet. Down. One thing. And then have everybody, when they're on that message, how about actually investing? Because the LGBTQ community, they put in money. They were heard. What I keep seeing the message when it comes to a lot of black folks, they just keep complaining. I don't hear any money coming in. I don't hear a strong campaign. I keep hearing, what can you do for me? I didn't hear the Asian community do that. I didn't hear the LGBTQ community do that. They put in money. They invested. They paid politicians. They got lobbyists. They didn't just say, what have you done for me lately? They didn't do that. They put their money where their mouth was. They didn't look for someone to come do something for them. They made it happen by saying, I paid you. Now get me what I'm owed. But the man here was even going to turn around and talk about the former president, talking about, well, you can be a felon whenever you can still be. Yes, actually, you can. There's nothing. This was his basically the way he was speaking about Donald Trump when he was coming in as a president, making America great again, right? But making the joke sitting across from Kamala about 6.5, 7 years later to talk about him being a felon. But you were praising pretty much the fact that he was making, quote, America great again. Even to the point where you convinced this little old white woman that she needs to stay in the U.S. because it is a great country, so that she wouldn't make the dumbass idea of thinking that she can move her husband and children over to Sweden for a fucking furniture store. Why are you so in love with IKEA? Unless you can eat wood, I don't understand. I don't get it. That's the way how I look at it. I don't really understand. No, city folk don't love IKEA because it's not easy to move, because once you put it together, you should be very much afraid of moving it. You set it up in place, unless it comes with wheels, you don't want to move the bitch. You don't want to do it. The pegs are not always as sturdy as. Everything breaks with time. Like, it's not of the best quality in the world. Most of the time, it's compressed materials. It's not like you're getting just straight lumber. Like, most of the time, it's compressed materials. I tell you it because I used to work with them in compliance. I know exactly how a lot of their shipping stuff hurt. What happens when it gets submerged in water. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Some of their stuff is good. Some of their stuff, you got exactly what you paid for. Which is why you paid for it. Because it was cheap. But I say that about all things. If you take care of something, it will take care of you. But if you buy something cheap, expect to replace it. All right. It is not, sir. When you, first of all, sometimes, like I said, it can be up to 5 boxes. And one of those boxes alone was already heavy. Already heavy. Now you have to make 4 more trips with other heavy boxes. Whether it's a kid's bunk bed, or you have to put up a freaking queen size bed or whatever. Like, it's heavy. And up 6 floors, God have mercy. First of all, if you got 6 floors you need to go up, you better have a working elevator, or you better hope that you paid for the delivery for them to take that shit up the stairs. I hope you were willing to pay the extra 40, 60, whatever bucks or whatever, because carrying them bitches up the stairs will not be easy. Oh, I agree with that. It's definitely easier to carry that shit than to build those pieces. And it's like you having like one of those mystery eggs. Like, you gotta hope that you have all the pieces. You have to hope. Because if you don't have all the pieces, you know what they're gonna say? Unless you can actually prove that you don't have all the pieces, can you bring the entire set back so we can look through it and then give you the extra piece that you need? So that you want me to bring the entire shit back? What if I told you that the one box I'm looking for doesn't have the one shelf that I need? They're gonna say, can you bring back the entire set for the one shelf that you need? Because it's not like they have spare shelf pieces. They actually have to dig into a product that's already still sitting on the shelf to give you that one shelf piece. But they have to prove that you actually have that one shelf piece missing. So you have to bring back the entire set. So if you have 5 boxes, instead of you missing that one piece from one box, you have to bring back all 5 boxes. Don't know if it's still running like that. I'm telling you, back then, that's what they used to do. And we used to look at them and say, that is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But that's the way how things were back then. I don't know if they're still that way now, but that's the way they were back then. I was the mofo that if you bought something and say I would just happen to be walking by and I'm like, they're over at returns. Do they want to know, did you just buy that? Yeah. Cool. Nice. Glad that you bought it. Thank you very much. Before you leave the store, do yourself a favor. Purchase. You already bought it. You already purchased it. Open the box. Make sure that all the pieces are there. I was the nice person that said, make sure that all the pieces are in the box before you leave this store. They would look at me like I'm crazy. Don't waste a trip. If everything's there, great. You know you're not going to have any complications when you get home. But if something's missing, aren't you happy you're already here in the store? And they would look at me and they would absolutely agree and open the boxes. And I can't even tell you the majority of the time it was in the box. It was always a 50-50. 50-50. Not the store's fault. That's a logistics thing. That's how they package it. Whatever happens. So it is what it is. Now, I don't think you guys actually know, but with the advent of how everything is changing over when it comes to AI, right? I noticed that I ran across an actual car company that, believe it or not, of all people that's actually teaming up with them, it's Uber. Uber is actually teaming up with this car company because they want to do driverless riding for actual patrons. And the store is actually called Waymo. I thought it was very, very interesting that Waymo was implementing something like this. And I wanted to take a look at this with you guys to see how exactly would you feel about looking at a particular vehicle like this? Would you actually get into one of these as well?
Bernal Heights Park. Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened. For any questions, press the call support button to speak with a rider support agent.
They have tested with no driver over 1 million miles. And in that time, they've only had 2 minor accidents, and Waymo has not been at fault. No injuries whatsoever. These guys are still like, wait, is that car driving on its own? So here it detects everything. These are people, the circles. Look, we're now at a stoplight, you see? Stopping for people. Wow. Okay, moving vehicles and stopped vehicles are in grey. Now we go to menu and you can play whatever you'd like music-wise.
So it has like sensors and cameras or whatever, but like there's like cameras on the inside or whatever. I have so many questions when it comes to, I actually tried to look at their website. They had some information, but it didn't have a whole lot to my liking. Like how exactly does it know if you left a mess in it, whatever. They said they have like cameras, so it takes a picture pretty much after every drive. So I'm like, all right, so what happens if you get the chicks that come from the club or whatever, and they're thrown up in the car or whatever case may be? So apparently the app will basically scan and take pictures of the inside the vehicle every time, before and after when a freaking customer gets in or out of the vehicle. And I'm just like, I guess, but who's gonna really become very comfortable with getting in a driverless car that's gonna be taking them around? Then I looked into the company and find out that they're actually branching up all over the place. They're now going to like Los Angeles. They've already been in like Texas. They were already been like in Arizona, and now they're moving over to Los Angeles. So Yvette, they going to Cali. They gonna be in your neck of the woods too. You gonna get in this driverless car? This autonomous taxi? You gonna get in it? You gonna let us know how it turns out? Because I don't know. Once something hits California and it becomes a big hit, it's just gonna start moving. It's gonna start. At first, I thought it was gonna be a competition for Uber, but Uber is actually partnering with them to get it done because Uber wants to save money as well. They want to get rid of as many drivers as possible.
Get your temperature. You set this, then the car will know every time you're picked up, this is your temperature. So I'm going to set it to this. Camera privacy. The cameras are on, but the mics are off, so no tech support can hear you. Total privacy in this car. Especially.
So, the cameras are on, the mics are off. But let me just ask the question to you guys. How many of you guys believe that will still stop the stupid videos that we've seen of the chicks who like get in the car and like want to be DJ Diddles in the back seat, trying to get the driver's attention? Because now there's no driver's attention, and they think they have privacy, right? But they got cameras. Do you think they're still gonna want to try to put it on a freaking little live camera event? And then also, who's the one that's monitoring these cameras? Do they have like a live tech support staff that's always keeping track of the cameras? Who's taking a look at the footage? How exactly does the footage get obtained? I got a lot of questions.
Especially as a woman, I feel like so safe. I can not be driving with a stranger in the car, and it's fully electric. We're going sustainable. So a truck is blocking our way. So it's actually decided to go a different way. It's backing up now. Look. You can currently hail a Waymo car in Phoenix, Arizona, in San Francisco, where I am, but it's coming to Los Angeles and Austin, Texas. So you can download the app now, Waymo One, and it'll notify you when it's live in your city. And look, you can write here, this is how you're going to identify the car that picks you up. Mine is SB, and you can change the color on the roof. All right, it's going to find somewhere safe to park or pull up.
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting.
Here we go.
Vehicle approaching.
Vehicle approaching, you see? How does it even see that far?
That's crazy.
After you exit, please close doors all the way. Thanks.
Look at this.
I think it's interesting, but I don't think anyone I know is going to be wanting to get involved with a car that's going to be like that. It would be the same thing as, like, basically we were here in the subway systems and all of a sudden you got subway cars that just start showing up, and all of a sudden everything's automated, no driver, no conductor. Like, we would be looking at it like, who's going to be the one that get in that? Who's going to be the one to find out that it's going to have to go express, moving fast? Who's going to trust it? So I think the same thing is going to be pretty much, especially when we're talking about busy streets. And then on top of that, we're talking about people who just do dumb shit. Because there's also the human element that we're not paying attention to. The people that's going to want to walk by and try to break the cameras. You know, the wild bikeman or bike messenger that ends up, because Cali got a lot of bike messengers that run by and basically end up hitting the freaking car. You know, it can only pay attention to the things that it's configured for. I don't think it's going to be able to pay attention to random elements like people doing shit like that. And that's just my thought, the way I'm looking at it. It'll be interesting to see how that thing moves. I don't think they have a big base of people who are actually testing it out. I think it was like 400 people or whatever that they signed on to actually give it a try. So I'm not too sure about the millennials. It'll be back and forth. California, especially people like in San Francisco, they're way more trusting of new technology than people in like New York, because we see a lot of. That's not to say it doesn't happen in San Fran, but we see a lot of car crashes, a lot of stupidness. So I don't know. I have no idea. So, but do I think Gen Z will get into that? Sure. But some of the things that we also know about Gen Z and also millennials is that they're inclined not to really give a shit about stuff, so they'll have no problem trashing that car up. Not at all. You know, we are part of the generation of trashing up hotels, so we'll have no problem trashing up a car without any issue. So that's just the way how I look at it. Now, this is the other thing that's actually popped up, and I'm pretty sure some of y'all have probably already seen this, right? But I'm gonna have to talk about it, because I think that a lot of people have just lost their minds. This is happening for the second time, y'all. Chris Brown. Why are people paying $1,000 to get a picture with this man? And now it's worse than ever. It is worse than ever. Check this shit out.
Brown's meet and greet. Brown's meet and greet photos released last night, and they're going viral yet again. Did y'all know those tickets sold out within 30 seconds? You already know, when you go to a Chris Brown concert, it's an experience of a lifetime. Now keep it cute or go on mute. Chris Brown's meet and
did you see that? We gonna play it again. We gonna play it again. I'm gonna see if I can get it on some of the moments. Some of these women have partners. They have boyfriends. They still paid $1,000. They paid a whole rack so that they can get the most intimate pictures that they can have of Chris Breezy.
Greet photos released last night, and they're going viral yet again. Did y'all?
Look, and this, keep in mind, it's not like he's just doing it. They're requesting it. They're requesting those pictures. He's like, I'm getting $1,000. You can get whatever you want. And these are the pictures that they request. I want a picture with you gripping my cheeks. Did you see this?
I don't know those.
You see this?
Tickets sold out within 30 seconds. You already know when you.
I think this is probably one of the most wholesome ones that are there. Besides that one and probably the first one.
You go to a Chris Brown concert. It's an experience of a lifetime. Now keep it cute or go on mute.
Now, check this out. There have been already reports of some of these women who have been paying $1,000 to get Chris to be posing all kind of ways. I even heard there was one where they did the fusion. They did the fusion shit. I think that's pretty funny. Still, to pay $1,000 to have a celebrity basically handle whatever, and then they're not even no, they're not even asking. They're literally paying for it. He's saying, what do you want? And that's what they're asking for. So, you know, either when they're paying their money, is probably a contract and everything already involved. But there are so many people that they're getting their relationships broken up with. I remember I was listening to one video where she says, yeah, my boyfriend and I broke up. He's not very happy or whatever. But, you know, if you're asking me to choose between Chris Brown and my boyfriend, I would pay basically she said she would pay $6,000 more for it only costs $1,000. She would take $6,000 more to do it 6 more times rather than hold on to that relationship that she's had with her boyfriend. Is he asking? Is he asking for sexual assault lawsuits? Possibly. Possible. It is all possible. There's no way I'm not gonna believe that he's not sitting there enjoying some of this for sure. But it's just at the same time, he's got that plausible deniability to say, listen, my fans this is what they're asking for. It's not like I just walked up and did all this whatever. I didn't ask for all this intimate shit. That's what your girl wanted. They got the money, they're paying me. Who am I to say what? I think it's absolutely crazy. But that's what they want. Is he that important, ladies? If you're listening, is he that important that you would pay $1,000 for a picture? Is he really that important? I think that this worship that we have when it comes to celebrities is just insane. I really think it is. Yes, they are very talented. They got to a particular place in the limelight, but let's just be honest. We're just talking about $1,000. If he asked for your soul, you give it. Just be honest. Why? I'm not caring. I'm curious. Why? Who would it help in the long run? Is it helping you? Because if it's just $1,000 for a picture, you obviously can't pay for his time. It would cost way too much. You couldn't pay for his time. You'd have to get a loan to pay for his time. You'd have to pay off the loan over time, God knows how, for his time. For 2 hours of his time would cost you too much. I'm just trying to figure out, is everything else that you've already been working towards, especially if you've already been in a relationship. I'm not even gonna call it loving, caring, whatever you want to call it. But if a relationship you've been in, that it was worth you possibly losing your relationship for a quote picture. We're not talking about backstage at a concert. We're not talking about a special package where you get to a special package where you get to be front seat and you get backstage, whatever. We're not talking about none of that. We're talking about a single shot. Let's be honest, on your phone. I don't know if it's like you get stuff sent to you and there's a big framing and everything. I just hear picture of you and Chris for $1,000, $1K. Not multiple pictures. For what I understand, it's one picture. And you silly idiots actually paid the money. I don't know what else to say about that. I really don't. There could have been so many things that you could have done with your time. So many things in the world that you could have looked at. And yet you decided to waste your time on that. I said it before and I'll say it again. There is a problem when it comes to people and priorities. It really is. And I don't know what else to say to you guys about it. Now, there was something that I was thinking about taking a look at to actually go into it, but I couldn't find a proper segment to talk about it, and that's the whole Dr. Disrespect situation that came up. A lot of you guys probably wouldn't even know him because I know him because I play video games. So he's very big. He was very big when it came to being on Twitch. I know him from a lot of other stuff like TwitchCon, things like that. But he ran into a very, very precarious situation that I'm just like, ugh, I don't really know if I want to talk about it. But those are some things I was going about for there. So that was a story I was pretty much going to skip out on. And then the rest of it was just me pretty much just trying to solve my algorithm, which is, it's not great. It's not great. I'm gonna try to get it back to where it was. I'm starting to see photography stuff back up in there, so that's good. Starting to see a little bit of finance stuff, so that's also good. But it's not quite there yet. It's not quite where I need it to be. And when it does, I will definitely have more entertaining content for you guys. But it's a slow burn. It's a slow process because YouTube has to get back to getting used to me. I did run across a video that was something that I thought might make me laugh, and I don't know. We could probably take a look at it because I had a feeling I was gonna laugh and I was gonna take a look at it. Let's have a look here.
Buckle up because today we've gathered for you some of the most heated and epic moments of Karens who simply cannot help but be racist to other people. Let's begin. First up, we have this Kevin who attended his kid's parent-teacher meeting just to show how racist he can really be.
Crying because of the abuse that he was enduring in this school system. Then why did you stay in Mexico?
You need to leave.
Oh, that's where the meme came from.
You need to leave.
That's indicative of what these kids are experiencing. That's indicative of what our kids are experiencing. Comments like that. And that's he's sharing a story right now. And that's indicative of what our kids are experiencing.
I think it's a good chance to have some conversation with that one.
That's right. That's right.
You're right. You got the floor.
I got respect for you. Wherever you are.
Hey, you interrupted with something. You interrupted with something.
All right. We're going to have this meeting. Let me answer the question. She asked me a question.
Answer the question.
She asked me a question, why didn't I stay in Mexico? Because this is the greatest country in the world. Yeah. Well, you're complaining about being here. You're complaining about being here.
It's not your turn.
It's not your turn. You get the mic back.
Okay, here's the thing.
Looks like this Kevin doesn't leave any opportunity to use his favorite word.
I'm Christopher. What's your name?
You say Christopher?
What? Christopher.
Hey.
Do you want to? Because I will. I got so many. I've been waiting.
You got so what, mother?
What you say?
So many of? What do you got so many of?
So much, love.
Take your up.
Couldn't wait.
Next up, meet this racist Karen who's chased down by a guy until she's forced to apologize.
Told me to go back
Forced
to
to
Africa.
apologize?
Who you calling? Who you calling a nigga? Who you calling? Who you calling? Who you calling? Now you scared, right? Oye. Come entiende.
Yeah, he holding up to it. He on ass.
Ready?
Uh-oh. In the corner now. Can't breathe. All right.
Say I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Say I'm sorry.
This ridiculous Karen would much.
I can't really say nothing about that. He held the task. I'm happy that she was able to get it. She wasn't able to get that far, but she was some stupidness, but she got away with it. She kind of looks. She looks somebody I recognize.
Much rather be a racist to a bunch of kids than admit that she's made a mistake.
No, you said you've been drinking. You. This is white entitlement right here. I need your insurance, please. I need your insurance. Thank you. Thank you for being respectful. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm trying to... A stick? Yeah, you stick. Okay.
Wow.
Or Indian.
Damn. Or Indian.
I don't belong in America. Are you dating right? Yes, I am. I will be getting your license plate
or Indian.
I guarantee you will probably lose whatever job you have for this.
Nah, she won't. She probably can't lose a job if she's a housewife.
I'm sorry. You have to witness this. This is your own wife. I'm sorry for that.
Karen gets escorted by security and starts crying after she learns that she simply cannot be nasty to other people and get away with it.
The fuck? What the hell?
Go be racist somewhere else, you. You're a nasty person. You're a bigot. You're a bigot. Bye-bye. See you later. You're a nasty racist person. I watched all that. You're horrible. Go on, hit me. Hit me. Hit me. Oh, keep smashing it. Smash it. Oh, smash it.
What drug was he on? What was he smoking? What was he snorting or whatever? I don't know. Wow. What was that? What the hell was that? I'm most likely gotta have the cops call on this guy. This guy's crazy.
What are you gonna do, you Now, f*** off. Come on, keep going. You fucking get this off. You racist. Go on. He's probably next because you're a nasty person, so he doesn't have nothing to do with you.
I'm gonna
Hit me and I'm gonna knock you clean the out in self-defense. Tough girl. Do you like being a bully, love? Do you want to be racist to all these people too? Are these black too? You nasty bigot. Oh, you're pretty tough. Look at you go. You dead. Yeah, you deserve it, mate. Keep going.
Oh, the crackhead.
Keep in the nuts and I'm gonna knock you clean up. Yeah, that's me. That's me. It's all on footage, love. Oh, play victim after you've been abusing her. You're a real nasty piece of work. You're a nasty, nasty person. Did she deserve to be called a black did she? Was that nice? Oh, there's the truth. There's the truth. Was it a nice thing for you to say? Was it nice to call her a black? Yes. No. Okay, because you tried to attack me.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
You called me names.
I called your name so you're allowed to attack me, is that right? Well, look at this. He's still going. No. Do you like being racist? Is that nice, eh?
Is that security or a cop?
It's all on footage. I'll show them it all. They can see it all. You're a clown, mate. Hey, please walk away. Learn to not be racist.
She's a clown, right?
No, don't abuse people. Don't be a racist bigot, mate. Go on, hit me again. Are you going to keep threatening me, are you? Please walk away. Yeah.
You guys
Mate, your
security.
son's going to get put to sleep. You're doing the wrong thing. You're going to get him hurt.
Oh shit!
If
Damn.
you want, I'll give you all the details. Check out all the footage. You've already tried to attack me multiple times, mate. You're not attacking us. I'm literally just defending my case, and I'm allowed to say. People are allowed to have voices, you know? I didn't come up to you, mate. I laughed.
Shirtless Kevin gets told to get some help after being racist and looks like he doesn't take it too well.
Yeah, because this is not Mexico.
Okay.
She's not even supposed to be here. It's soliciting, you stupid.
No, you're actually retarded. You need to go to therapy. Go help yourself. Yeah. Okay.
Go help
makes you feel
yourself.
better, keep going
Is that the
to
new curse word for some of y'all? Go help yourself. Can't find that mean streak to really pull up that rest
You
of
want
that.
to say something to me?
Dude, you literally need to get the
Uh-oh.
away from me.
You need to shut the up.
Leave.
I don't need to go anywhere.
I'm literally reporting you to the police.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're fucking weird. I'm literally gonna send this to the fucking. Yeah, you're fucking weird.
People cannot troll each other well. This is looking really bad. Stupid bitch.
No, trust me. This is a small town.
Oh.
They live right here.
Animal control law. Your dog
She filmed where he lived.
Yo, you know you can't.
Oh yeah, she can.
Yeah, I can.
There you go. Absolutely, she can.
No, I just recorded him.
Yo.
Got a dog.
Dogs don't smell well. I'm a dog groomer. And that's
This is a dog groomer. That's the dumbest response. Dogs don't scare me. I'm a dog groomer.
I've been here this whole time. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm
okay.
not, you retard. Yeah, of course you just run your mouth. Hey. Your boyfriend's a little punk. Look at me talking shit to these DJs. Like what, 50, 60, and you live here? Come on, bro. I'll put you in a hospital.
All right. Listen, I see nothing coming from that.
Well, looks like someone is a little too eager to be racist in a parking lot.
Yo. Some people just can't wait. They can't wait.
He's your partner.
That's your partner.
This racist Karen gets cops called on her after she's caught harassing a woman who just was minding her own business.
Playing the victim. How dare you sound language? You, you're a you freaking you stupid you. Your mom is a you. Your ugly face again. What language? I know it's really hard.
Watch your language.
It's really hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. White privilege. White privilege.
They put your mask on. This was obviously during COVID.
You mean you're so privileged that you can yell racism at folks? You just walked by a group of folks and yelled racism? Is this your store?
She yelled racism?
So am I. So am I. I'm a customer too, Becky. She's having a breakdown because she just got caught being racist.
She said, I don't want to live anymore.
You probably shouldn't be racist anymore. You should probably check yourself. You racist. You're gross.
They're asking you to leave.
Oh, you're gonna keep her in here? Sure thing. Sure thing. You're racist. And you guys are entitling that to her racism by kicking me out and letting her stay in here when she came in here screaming like a psycho. You guys are allowing that racism to exist, and you guys calling the cops on me is some racist bullshit. She can.
Yeah, I'm in my head wondering like what was the thing that really sparked this all up too. This is one of those weird things that just really listen. This is to me, this is a decent sign that I'm starting to get something back from my algorithm because I'm surprised this actually popped up. But yeah, I do agree that it would be interesting to know what the initial confrontation was. I do agree with that. It's very interesting though. Yeah, this how long? Oh man, this thing is long too. No. We will not be watching that. Guys, that was pretty much everything that I have. I don't have a whole bunch more because I'm going to be spending a good portion of my day probably going to be cleaning up the algorithm so I can have something big for Saturday. I was thinking about, I made a video that you guys, if you saw it or not. So it was about Vivek Ramaswamy and then having a particular stance on how he felt of whether he was going to, or whether Joe Biden is even going to still be around pretty much as president, which is pretty funny, but at the same time, you kind of wonder. But it did pose a question, right? With the actual debate coming up, and let's just say if something did take place, who exactly would be an actual candidate for the Democratic side? Let's just say, you know, for instance purposes, no one's expecting anything to go wrong, but no one actually has talked about an actual suitable replacement, right? No one at all. And let's just say if it came down to Madam Harris, do you think that she's gonna be a strong enough person to try to go up against Donald Trump? I personally would say no, given the fact that she didn't seem like she was campaigning too well before from the beginning, and then it's just a different monster altogether. So I just don't see it. This is a short stream. I'm gonna give you back your time, but I've had a couple of questions that really popped up through a lot of this stuff. For one, I'm trying to figure out why people will still pay a freaking $1,000 for freaking Chris Brown or whatever, but we're neither here nor there. And of course, trying to figure out more about what's going to be happening in terms of the city here in New York, because quite frankly, with all the different vigilante shit that popped up, a lot of stuff that needs to get worked on. So I'm of course going to be paying attention to that throughout all of this time that is pretty much going on. And being that I pretty much already do my scheduling, if you didn't already know, for those who are still coming in here, that I have my scheduling where I've been basically going live on Wednesdays and actually Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, because I'm here in New York. That's why it's Eastern. But also, I've been wondering if there were other particular things or other particular segments, or if I was thinking about changing up my content style. And then I was wondering if I was going to change up days or not. I haven't quite frankly settled down on it yet, but I'm thinking about what exactly can I do to help out in the content. And another thing was that, being that I tried to start early for the show in terms of just like getting things warmed up so that everybody can get in there. Give me your thoughts on whether it's something that I should just pretty much just go live when I just go live at my given time, or should I actually just come in a little earlier to see what's going on? Because I do like to warm up and see what's going on with everybody, and also like to go live so I can kind of like give you guys that notification that I am about to start. But I think there are people who just walk in the moment they see that I go live and they're expecting something, and it's just like kind of my warm up as to when we go live, because I always go live pretty much at 4 what my time is. So I'm a person that likes to be on time, not when I state to go live and then that's it, and then you guys now got to walk up to everything else I got to walk up into. Give me your idea on that, because I'm seeing some people come in early and then they leave, and then other people, they're not really too sure what's going on. They get confused, which I don't know why, because like I said, times has been the same. It's been the same for a little bit now, and I'm just trying to figure out a format and a time schedule that's going to work out for everybody, including myself, because you never know what kind of changes are going to happen in the near future or in the later future, and we're in the middle of summer, or rather we're in the beginning of summer. So I just want something best for everybody else, because quite frankly, in the summertime, no one really wants to be cooped up in the house. We want to go out. We want to do our own thing. And I want to have a particular program that's going to be able to work well with a lot of people, and at the same time gives me a little bit of freedom so that I can help better design something that's going to be better for you guys, whether you have taken the time to actually sit down and watch an actual stream of mine, or if you're actually on the go and there's something that you can actually listen to. So I want to pay attention to my own things that I can be able to give time for everybody, for all kind of occasions. With that being said, I will be on for Saturday. I will be trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to be doing from Saturday. Like I said, a lot of time I'm going to be cleaning up what's going here. I'm most likely going to be compiling a bit of my notes based on what's going to be happening on the debates, seeing what I do want to talk about, what I don't want to talk about, some things I might find interesting or not. I know pretty much you guys are going to be the type that's actually watching that because you want to hear exactly what's exactly the kind of foolishness or what exactly they consider to be very much important, that's going to be what they see as being the next person pretty much running the nation, and if they're going to qualify before we get the next debate happening between them. But that's pretty much the time that I'm going to have for you guys. Like I said, short enough stream. I'm going to give you back your time. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, because I'm going to do my best to take care of the rest of mine. Take care of your family, take care of your friends. Go out, go touch some grass. Please don't just get cooped up in the house. Take advantage of life, what we have now. It's a good time to reflect, guys. Good time to reflect, because we're still in this little bit of the second quarter. So you should be thinking about how you're going to make the most of your third quarter coming up for this year of 2024. Guys, I appreciate you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Be apprised of shorts or whatever's going on, and I will give you an update on anything else that's going on, like say my community page or so. And if you ever want to reach out to me, I'll just say this right now, you can at multiple mediums that I have, being it's Twitter, or it's actually going to be at Resla Opinionated over on IG, as well as having my email, which is also at reslaopinionated@gmail.com. I've been thinking about actually starting up a gaming series as well for stuff like that. It will be something totally different, or just a different segment of the show itself, because I do like to get into my gaming, especially for summertime. But I just want to make sure I have different formats so that everybody can be able to speak to me all at once, and not, again, so that you're not stuck at home, because I don't want you stuck at home just because I'm at home. Stay opinionated. I'll see you on the next one. Later, guys.